Hello, everyone. How are we doing? Wow, lots of people here already. I'm moving in closer. I need to get a microphone. I'm really sorry. I know my sound is crap. I must get a microphone. I must get a microphone. I will try and do that very soon. So hopefully you can hear me okay. And I would like to first of all thank Rich Mitch, because I know he's the reason so many of you are here. And a massive thank you to Rich Mitch. And yeah, I'm kind of excited about this one. So let's just have a look. There's so many comments already. Josie, Michael, Natalia, Joe, Rich, Powdy Mizu, back here for another fragrance review. Drawn by Alfonso, H2O, Taffy, so many of you. JJ, Shiva, Gajura, hello. Hey Bree, Peroli. Wow, okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. And I must keep checking to make sure if Eugene's in the building. I have invited Eugene along. I really hope he can make it. It's not guaranteed, but it will be fantastic if Eugene can be here, because we're going to be sniffing his new fragrance, the brand new Belle Ame. So Belle Ame means beautiful soul. And I actually thought it would be really fun, before we sniff it, I thought it'd be really fun if you, that means you specifically, if you would describe how you would make a perfume called Belle Ame. Because I know how I would do it, and I'd kind of like to, I don't think Eugene would make a fragrance how I would, but here's how I would make a fragrance called Belle Ame. I'm thinking beautiful soul, so something very ethereal, something like an aura, it would wear like an aura, and it's light and innocent and angelic. So for me, I would make it a musky, clean fragrance. So I think beautiful soul would be maybe some light citrus, not too much, but a gentle light citrus, lots of clean musks, and probably some kind of white floral. Some what would I go for? Maybe some, I mean, I love frangipani, so I would probably go for frangipani, a teeny bit of jasmine, but nothing too dirty. Clean, maybe a hint of a soapiness, because souls are always innocent. I think souls are, they live in a higher plane. So that's what I'm thinking, something light and angelic and innocent and musky. What would you do? I would love to know. So let me know in the comments. Hey Jimbo, hey Phil, Adam, so many people. Sebastian, lovely to see you. Big fan of the first one. The first one's amazing. So the first one, De Loire Exquise, lovely, sort of like a resinous rose. Christy, nice to see you. Oh, I forget that I'm on the StreamYardy thing, so I can actually highlight all your comments. Hey Scott, so nice to see Scott here. Mika says probably a ton of soft musks. Yeah, that's totally what I'm thinking. It's what I'm hoping, because I love soft musks. Michael says it's a good day here. Feel like a second skin. Yes, because I don't know where the soul is. Obviously, everyone's got different beliefs, but if you're a little bit spiritual, where does the soul live? Does it live inside the body, or is it part of your aura? Does it right? Maybe it sits above your head. So yeah, I don't know, but I definitely feel that it would be soft, clean, and musky. Oh, hang on, we've got someone here. Who's this? Hello.
Hello, Cletties.
Hi, Eugene. You're hiding yourself. Oh no, there you are.
I'm here. I'm here. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good. This is a pleasant surprise, so thank you so much for inviting me on.
No, cool. I'm so glad you could make it because it's very last minute. I asked you a few hours ago.
Yeah, I was at work and I got a lovely message asking if I was willing to come on, and I had some plans and I was like, "All right, those plans can wait." So I raced home
Oh
and
wow.
I thought, "Yeah, let's do this. Why not?" But it's good to see you. You look lovely as
Oh, thank you.
always. Hello to everybody in the chat. It's good to see everybody. Hope everybody's doing well.
Oh, brilliant. I'm so excited for this. I don't know. I was just asking everyone to give their impressions of what they might do with a fragrance called Beautiful Soul.
Mm.
And it'd be interesting to see what everyone comes up with. But in the meantime, do you want to maybe let everyone know the inspiration behind it if you're comfortable doing so?
Yeah, of course. Well,
Mm.
the three fragrances, there's a succession to them. There's a story. Everybody knows about the broken heart, and they're probably sick of hearing about the broken heart and what's the next chapter. And the heart eventually has to heal, and this is the story of a healing and a spiritual awakening, and just it's just something that was a very special time in my life that I thought was something that was worth expressing into a perfume. So this is a most of all, it was a perfume about healing, healing the broken heart and forgiving myself and loving myself and accepting myself for who I am. So we made something. I was listening to what you had described as what you would have created as a healing perfume, and
Mm.
and it's pretty spot on.
Okay.
You're not far.
Oh,
So this
good.
is something. Do you want me to tell you about the fragrance, or should we wait for you to smell it?
Yeah. Don't give away any notes whether you want to wait or.
I haven't released many notes yet. I mean, some notes have been released or revealed by the people involved, but I
Mm.
haven't said a whole lot yet.
Okay.
And I will do so. I'll do so with time.
Yeah. I'm really curious about the interaction between you and Anton Lie. In
Sure.
that, were you because you're very vulnerable there, like since all of this started, you've been very vulnerable with what you've been through, and were you very vulnerable in your conversations with Antoine Lie about how feelings and all of that sort of stuff?
Yeah, I mean that naturally those conversations had to take place
Mm.
and let him know how I felt. As horrible as a broken heart sounds and it's miserable and painful, it truly was one of the greatest experiences that I've been through, just to feel that pain as a human being. We're always just so wanting to feel good about ourselves. And I thought, like, I know, yes, this feels awful, but I've never felt this before. And just to be able to, experience was, it almost felt like a miracle to me, like something really beautiful. And, I've had broken hearts before. I'm sure you have. And I don't know what
Mhm.
it feels. I'd love to hear what your interpretation of a broken heart is. But I naturally in the past would avoid them and distract from them and go into things that weren't necessarily good for me, like
Yeah.
alcohol or
Mm.
drugs or other women or, heavy distractions just to get away from that discomfort. And this
Mm.
time I was like, I'm, I thought I'm tired of doing this. Like, I just want to heal. I want to feel good. And I'm just tired of I was just tired, I felt like society had really put me in a very bad, uncomfortable place, and I wanted to get out of that rut. So I spent the time, I really spent time the last 3 years being alone, being with myself, becoming comfortable with myself and going inside of that pain and
Mm.
forgiving it and knowing that when it does arise, how to deal with it. We've all suffered trauma. We've all had these past experiences that don't feel good. And You can never really truly heal those. Once
Mhm.
the body knows that pain, it's always inside the body. But what we can do is build the tools to deal with it when it does arise.
Mm.
So horrible things happen to everybody. Realize that. And that pain never, it's like riding a bike. Once you ride a bike, you're never going to forget how to ride a bike. So once
Mm.
that pain is in your body, it's very familiar. It doesn't always show up, but when it does, you can say, ah, that's where this is coming from. Let me
Yeah.
deal with it, like an adult.
Mm. If you have that perception, and I think a big part of the problem is many people go through life not understanding that they're reacting to past trauma. And it's quite amazing that you took this particular experience and you decided to hone in on it, to go in on it, when most people's reaction, especially men, and it's not a slight on men, but because they're brought up to not cry, to not show emotion, that men generally, when it comes to heartbreak in particular, they just try and shag someone else as quickly as possible, get
That's
pissed,
right.
go out with their mates all the time, and then it's months or even years down the line that they're still struggling with those deep hurts, whereas women generally are encouraged to maybe talk too much with our friends and keep reliving it and keep sort of exploring it. So it's I think it is a different thing for different people, isn't it? But
That's absolutely true. And
mm,
yeah, men just want to distract. They want to go out with the dudes and bang a bunch of women and forget about it and be the guy. But
mm,
I tell you what, experiencing any sort of emotion is like the greatest gift as a human being. There's
mm,
everything we do is driven by our emotions. Think for yourself, when you're feeling bad, how many times have you gone out and bought a perfume to make yourself feel better?
mm,
Driven by emotion. When you felt bored, how many times have you gone out and distracted yourself or done a certain thing that necessarily wasn't good for you to forget
mm.
about that boredom? So I think
Yeah.
it's important for us to realize, I mean, first get in touch with our emotions, especially for men, because men have this thing of, you know, it's almost considered to be less of if you're an emotional man. But
Mm,
I really think it's the greatest gift that you can experience is
yeah.
emotions in all of their feelings, good or bad.
Yeah, and that's how you become emotionally mature, is to learn to accept your emotions and not to
Ab-
necessarily react instantly by buying a perfume or getting laid, but actually feel it and live with it. And
Claire, all those things are great and there's nothing wrong with them. If you want to go out and get sloshed one night, that's great.
mm,
But the thing is, if you're doing it every single day, because humans, we like patterns, we like cycles, we're always doing the same things,
mm.
know what's behind it and what is driving this. I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, so it's almost like just taking a moment to ask yourself a question or two, isn't it? Really,
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
good.
And
Yeah,
I see everybody in the chat. Shout outs to everybody. Hi. It's so great to see you guys. This is awesome.
this is so cool. So I think I should probably spray this. So I'm gonna go straight onto my skin. So
Sure.
for anyone that missed it, it's Belle Ame. Am I saying that correctly? Belle
So
Ame?
it is Belle Ame. It's not Belle Ame. It's not
Mm,
Belle Ame. It's a lot of people are confusing it or the is the Hermes Belle Ame. No, it's
mm.
it's Belle Ame. It's quite different.
Ooh. Okay, right. I like this. This is nice. So it feels like iris masks. It's one of those gorgeous, your skin but better kind of fragrances. I think I smell. Oh, it was a little bit of spice or something. Oh yeah. Oh, I like this. Is there maybe some sort of aldehyde, but not like a fizzy aldehyde, something very smooth and almost soapy lotion like?
I got to tell you
Yeah.
something, Claire.
Mm,
You were one of the first to review La Doulette skis. I think Peter from Fragrance View was what he did one before you, and then you were the second.
right. Yeah.
After that video, Rich, Mitch, and I agreed that you have one of the best noses in the space, and this, it just proves it.
Oh, thank you. Well, that's good to know. This is my thing. Like, I love this. It's a beautiful it's a beautiful iris. It's got just a hint of earthiness, but it's more of that makeup powder, and it's not exactly like it's not like lipstick rose. It's not too makeup powdery, but it is almost like you've got out of the shower and you've put on lotion and you've got some powder, you know, talcum powder and some face powder, and but it's not mega powdery either. There's definitely some juxtaposition in here, so it's not just sort of sweet. There's grounding. I'm not sure what's causing that, but it's gorgeous.
Thank you. I knew you would love it. I saw
Yeah.
your comments on Rich's stream that you were a little bit concerned about not liking it, and you won't offend me. I'm sure it's not everybody's cup of tea, and that's okay. And that's what art is. Art is not about, I mean, it is kind of about what I'm trying to express, but it's also about what it is that you're seeing and feeling. That is more important.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I would put it in the category of Tent de Neige, but it's much more interesting than Tent de Neige. There's
I'm not
one.
familiar with Tent de Neige.
Okay, there's one from E. Coudray. It's I think Iris something, similar to that, but again a lot more interesting. It's not as purely boudoir-esque. There's definitely earthiness coming through. So I'm guessing them. I don't know. I'm not saying I specifically smell, but I feel like there might be sort of like patchouli, oak moss. There's those grounding notes that are more earthy and darker that are coming through. But it's definitely got that amazing iris musk thing. And I'm thinking probably a floral, maybe a hint of rose, but it's not like specifically rosy. Is it something like that?
Okay, so all three fragrances are based off of a note that Antoine has used repeatedly in every single perfume. So there's going to be a touch of rose that comes from La Doulette Exquise, but not enough for you to say this is,
no,
this is
it's not as
rosy.
strong.
So I'm surprised that you're able to perceive it.
I think it's almost a case of I just expect it to be there in this genre of fragrance. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So it's not like I would, if you held a gun to my head and said, do you smell rose? I would be shaking and a bit like, I'm not sure. But it just feels like it belongs in this kind of fragrance.
There's a lot of rose iris perfumes out on the market, and this doesn't smell like a rose iris fragrance. It doesn't remind me of a rose iris fragrance.
No. Yeah, it's more about whatever that smooth, clean, lotion-like feel is, and the iris, I think.
Okay, so the the brief behind this, the story is healing. I wanted something warm. I wanted something comfortable, cozy, something that I could snuggle up to, something that is buttery. So that's an orris butter, a very high end, or it's like overloaded with orris butter.
Wow.
So it's very creamy, very warm, very buttery, slightly, I don't know, maybe milky, like you say, lotiony. It
Yes.
has
Yeah.
a touch of that. But there's also, like in healing, for me, my healing was a very beautiful journey. There's also a very uplifting musk in here that put a lot of wind underneath those orris wings.
Okay.
It just floats on these musks.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I would call it an iris musk, sort of off the, off the top notes. Definitely grounded though. It's not just like it's got some grounding.
Let me spray some more.
Yeah.
So there's more. I mean, there's a lot more to this.
Mm. Thank you, Rich, for the super chat or whatever it is. Thank you.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, buddies. Yeah, I don't know, like something almost flint-like, you know, like pebbles. Do you know what I mean? Like a slight mineral touch.
Okay.
Not
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a bit of spices here.
okay.
There are I know what you're talking about. It's just a
Mm.
matter of how much do we want to reveal.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
so
it's
since
not metallic at all. It's just that like stone like smell, which I really love,
Mm.
almost petrichor like.
So this was the brief that this was the only brief. This was the submission when I had gotten the very first set of submissions that it was a love from instant smell. All the others needed
Mm,
reworking, but when I had smelt this accord, it was beautiful, and I said, "This is it. This is what I'm looking for." However, at that time, it was only an accord. It wasn't a full perfume. There wasn't enough in there to consider it, a very progressive perfume that
mm,
develops in stages. So we kept working on it. And then at one point, I feel like we lost it. We went too far. We put too much into it. I asked Antoine to make it spicier, make it
mm,
maybe even the bergamot top note. So we lost the color and it turned too green
right.
and too metallic.
Mm,
So we had to tone it back and we came back a lot. So we went kind of in between that very first initial submission and that place where we went too far. So
yeah.
it was the perfume that I initially liked the most and the one that also changed the least. All the others had changed much more than this one had.
Mm. So roughly how many mods did you end up having before you got to this one?
This one was, I believe, 16.
Mm,
La Doulette Exquise was 36.
I love this.
Thank you.
It's amazing. This is so up my street. It's just it's one of those fragrances that anyone could wear to be just a better version of themselves.
Right. I find it a very
Mm.
fun fragrance. Like La Doulette Exquise was much more traditional.
Mm.
Um, I find this very uplifting, and anyone can wear it. My sons wear this, they love it.
Mm.
Their friends love it.
Oh,
I know
wow.
Antoine loves it. It's his favorite from the free so far.
Yeah.
He went on vacation to Italy, and he said he took his bottle with him and wore it for a couple weeks, and he loves it.
It's
Um,
gorgeous. Yeah. It's very classy as well. It's very understated.
mm,
So when you say Antoine, I'm imagining him on holiday in like a short sleeved white linen shirt. Do you know what I mean?
right.
And smell it because it smells kind of clean and put together and yeah, very classy, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
Mm.
so Antoine has been working with a chocolate cacao note that the Atelier Francais has um kind of created this cacao note through X-ray extraction, where they kind of are able to jar the notes and separate the molecules and get
Mm.
the really good parts of the cacao and use them. And he's used it in things such as the Vanille Havane. He's used it in one of his Eris perfumes. I'm not sure which one.
Yeah.
I haven't smelt the Eris yet, but he's used that here as well. And that's probably the mineral aspect that you're getting, that cocoa
Okay.
powder.
Yeah, because I don't think I'd ever come to say it smelt like chocolate in any way.
It gets quite chocolatey.
Does it? Okay. I look forward to that. I like that it's not that sweet. Like it's definitely got some sweetness,
Yes.
but it's not it's definitely no gourmand. It's it's lovely. The balance is lovely. Like, it's just got a really gentle sweetness to it.
Mm.
Almost
So,
like rice powder. I'm thinking rice powder.
yeah, it is powder. I think that comes,
Mm,
there's a couple of species of iris here. Orris butter, it's that Orris concrete. It's almost like taking a tub of butter, Orrisy butter, and just kind of
mm,
applying it on. That's what
mm,
it feels like to me. So creamy and warm.
yeah.
But as much as I love iris, like I'm a huge iris lover, I love, the dry, powdery, waxy, cosmetic-y aspects
Mm,
of iris, and I love that in this perfume. There's something else that I really have come to love. So it's quite meditative, I find, as well, especially in the dry down.
okay.
I find it almost like being in a cave in Tibet, right?
Mm,
It's got that in the base, the smoke accords come out, the incense, and just kind of this calmness hovers about.
yeah.
And one of my favorite parts of this is, and I hate tonka bean, like
Mm,
literally hate tonka bean, but it has a tonka bean resin in the base.
okay. A tonka bean resin.
A resin, yes.
So how does that work?
Well, it's a very smoky, resiny, almost like a scorched, a woody note
Okay.
that's quite
Mm,
uplifting, and there's some sandalwood in there as well. Yeah, Yura's got it. Yura's
mm.
the sandalwood, yes.
Lovely. Rich Mitch has just sent me a text. I can't, because I film on my phone, I can't see it, Rich, if it's important. Um, yeah, I'm not getting anything smoky yet, but I'm excited for a little bit of incense to come through. But it is, I see what you're saying about meditative. It's very calming. It's a gentle aura of a fragrance, which is that's my favorite thing, really.
But
Subtlety.
it's not such a gentle perfume. La Doulette Exquise, I thought, was much softer. This
Mm,
is quite, I mean, it takes up a lot of space. This
yeah.
has a presence to it.
I think I'm not talking about the performance or anything. I'm just talking about the impactfulness of it. To me, it's very gentle and flowing.
Yes,
Whereas I would have said Doulois was quite an impactful scent, if
right,
you know what
right.
I mean. So I wouldn't really comment on the performance at the moment. It just has this gentle feel, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But to me, definitely get this lovely it's like petrichor, not geosmin, not like really earthy, but the literal effect of when the rain hits a hot concrete. And that I find that smell, that I honestly, I don't think there's anything better than that, hot concrete in the sun and the rain. It's like there's a chemical thing that happens, and it's amazing, and I get that here.
Orris has that type of effect.
Mm,
It's very
yeah.
calming. It's quite meditative. And of course, I'm biased, but I haven't smelt an iris like this, like an iris butter concrete, and this is only possible because of the Atelier Français de Métier, the
Mm,
people providing the materials for this. It's a very, I think it's a very special perfume. I think all three are it's a very special collection, but
mm. Yeah, no, I'm loving this. This is my favorite of the two that I've tried so far. This is, yeah, it's
I'm
beautiful.
glad that you love it. Thank you.
Mm. Yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
really nice. Let's just have a little look at the. Oh, Lily. Lily says, I agree. Claire has an underrated nose. Thank you. Oh, some lovely comments. And I'm probably miles away from all the comments. We've got 67 people here. That's the most I've ever had in a live stream. So thank you everyone for coming along.
That's
And
great. Hi,
thank you to
everybody.
Eugene. You're a beacon, a beacon
Thank
to
you
the
so
people.
much to everybody for being here. It's really good to connect this way. And part of me releasing perfumes or wanting to do this was to give back to the community, to give the community something to talk about, to give us something, to connect over. This is
Mm,
what we do. perfume is our passion. And, you know, a lot of times we complain about the amount of releases, the amount of perfumes coming out. But to be honest, without all, it gives us something to talk about. You know, you and I
Yeah,
are here to talk about perfumes.
exactly. So Pradeep says, is it mushroomy? I don't think so.
No, not it's not fungal at all.
Mm. No, there's earthy, a very gentle earthiness about it. It's very grounded, but definitely not like smelling mushrooms at
Yeah.
all.
To
Sometimes,
me, it's much more creamy and buttery
mm,
iris,
yeah.
warm, contemplative, uh, cosmetic-y, waxy, slightly lipsticky.
Mm,
I get that lipstick accord, but it's
yeah.
very warm.
Mm. Yeah, is there a touch of vanilla or a sweet resin in there?
Yeah, that's the tonka bean resin. It's
Yeah,
a
okay,
that's
yeah.
a Atelier Francais Grand Cru material. So
Mm,
it's um it's almost like an extrait. It's a very high quality extrait. The other Grand Crus in there is ginger. It's a blue Madagascar ginger in there.
oh right, okay.
Mm, for the spice.
Yeah, see, I
Uh
get a hint of I get a hint of spice from it, but I
yeah.
would never specifically pick out ginger, and I wouldn't even. It's almost like it's spicy without it being specifically any particular spice. So it's just got like this warmth
Mm,
that's not exactly peppery, but just like how pepper can be warm and hot. With,
yeah.
but it doesn't smell like cinnamon. It doesn't smell like nutmeg. It doesn't smell like any specific spice. It just has a sort of like an overall slightly spiced effect.
So there's also some cardamom in there.
Okay,
And I believe there's some cinnamon as well,
right, yeah.
or something that replicates the cinnamon.
Mm. Some great comments. So many people here. I can't keep up with all the comments. If anyone's got any specific questions, if you're open to that, Eugene.
I see, you know, I almost forget that I'm on somebody else's stream and I want to highlight like so many great comments. There's so many familiar faces here and good friends. So
Yeah,
thanks everyone for being here. Hello.
yeah,
Hope
thank
everybody's
you.
having a
Yeah.
great day.
Am I hydrating tonight? Is that me or Eugene? I'm hydrating. Actually, I will share with you because it's a bit perfumistery. I will share with you my gin of the night. It's passion fruit and vanilla blossom gin. So that's my drink of the night with some tonic.
Okay, so here's a question from Josie, and Josie is
Mm,
asking, is it feminine?
okay. Do you want to answer that first?
I don't think it's feminine. And the
Oh.
reason I say that is because my two older boys wear it, and if it smelled anything feminine, there's no way in hell they would have put it on because
Mm,
they're very masculine young fellas.
yeah. I would say if it was going to lean one way or the other, it would lean slightly more feminine because it's an irisy perfume in the same way that Dior Homme and the Dior Homme line might be considered more unisex. It's not something that would be, if a designer released it there, I don't think they put it in a masculine bottle. So I would say that, you know, on the radar, one way, that way being masculine, that way being feminine, I'd say it just slightly.
I think it's beautifully balanced.
Mm,
Sure, yes, Iris does have that waxy cosmetic-ness,
mm,
but in the base, you have a lot of those smoky notes. You have the incense, you have the tonka bean resin, so it is resinous.
mm.
And from that tonka bean, you have the hay-like qualities,
Okay, yeah.
slightly leathery, very nutty. This turns
Mm,
super nutty. So if
yes.
you like that nutty effect, you get a lot of that from the tonka bean.
Mm. H2O says, is it sweet? I would say it's just gently sweet, a very soft sweetness to it. It's definitely not it's not savory, it's not non-sweet. It's got a gentle sweetness to it, but again, not strongly sweet. It's difficult to
Yeah, I mean,
describe levels of sweetness, isn't it?
and that will be different for everybody, the level
Mm.
of sweetness. It all depends on your perception of what you enjoy. I'm not a big fan of sweet perfumes myself.
Mm.
It does have a balance of dry and sweetness.
Yeah, it is quite dry, like not too dry, but it is definitely a bit dry, isn't it?
Orris
Mm.
itself is dry.
Mm.
Cacao is a contradiction of dryness and sweet itself, right? Cocoa powder, it's dry, but it has
Mm.
an element of sweetness to it.
Rich has got something there.
Tell everyone who Atelier France. So Atelier Francais are the manufacturer that have produced my perfumes. They are the brand that Antoine Lie works with. He works with a couple of manufacturers, but I think this is his main source. They are the same manufacturer that creates Les Indemnidables perfumes and Eris. I think they were the ones that had bottled Pure Distance, the last Pure Distance that Antoine had made, which was the reincarnation of M version 2.0 something. So they're just they provide these really beautiful materials, and there is a lot of there's a lot of substance to the materials that they're using. They're very thick, they're very full, they're very colorful, they're textured. There's a lot of elements and complexity to them.
So how does it work? Are they actually manufacturing the fragrance for you? Do
Yeah.
they do the
Yeah.
compounding? Do they do the
Yeah.
bottling?
They do the filling and the
Yeah.
sealing, and everything was made in France. Completely. The
Yeah.
perfume was, it was designed in France. Antoine, I worked from here, from Toronto, with
Mhm.
Antoine, like just like you and me are talking now, and we would kind of talk about what it was I wanted to express, and he took notes and he created submissions. He sent them over, and we smelt them together for the first time, and I kind of told him what I liked and didn't, and that was a great experience. Like, there were
Mm.
things that I didn't like, and he was okay with it. He didn't take it personal. He understood, like, he had a job and a role to fill, and I think he did a top-notch job. He really delivered what it was I wanted to express, and if it wasn't for him, these just wouldn't have been. If it wasn't for Antoine Lie, if it wasn't for Atelier, these wouldn't be what they are.
Mm.
There was a time where I was trying to get in touch with like Givaudan and Firmenich and all those, and I think not being able to connect with them was the best thing possible, because these just wouldn't be the same. These perfumes, what they are now, wouldn't be the same if I was working with one of those bigger brands.
Right. Yeah.
It would have smelt like a lot of other things in the department store.
Mm.
These to me smell much richer, thicker, fuller. There's more depth to them.
Sorry, just having a look at the comments. I think there was a question somewhere.
Hi, Victor. What's up? I'm coming to see you tomorrow. I see Victor Wong's in the chat.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Victor. Nice to see you.
I have Victor Wong's crimper. Victor was kind enough to lend me his crimper while I was in like the development stages of bottles and caps and stuff like that.
Oh,
So
wow. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that's so nice. I can't even see Victor's comment, but
It's just right at the end.
oh, there you are. Hey, Victor.
I got to give a big shout out to Victor, because he's been a huge inspiration for me too. Being a fellow Canadian, somebody that is not far from me, somebody that I've met many times, and I've watched him from day one. I've known Victor since before he started Zoologist,
Mm.
and I've always admired his passion, his knowledge, his just everything, right?
Yeah. I used to love Victor's reviews before
Yeah.
he started zoologist. He used to like write these funny reviews, very succinct but so funny, of so many different perfumes, and they were just brilliant to read.
So again, like, let's go back to this. Yes, Victor was talking about perfumes, but what else was he reviewing?
Don't know. It was just perfumes, wasn't it?
Right. We were talking about perfumes, but what I felt like he was doing, and what I feel like I don't consider myself a fragrance reviewer on YouTube. I come on YouTube and I talk about a lot of stuff. But when I'm talking about perfume, I feel like, yes, I'm describing perfume, but what am I really reviewing is my feelings. And that's what Victor used to do.
Yeah.
He would talk about his feelings. And I think that's what I connect with much more than what's actually in the perfume. You know, some people are obsessed with the molecules and everything else that goes inside the bottle. To me, it's much more important in how does this perfume make me feel?
Yeah.
Much more than the, you know, where is this vetiver from Haiti or Indonesia or, you know, it's all great. That's all fun and dandy, but what is this vetiver saying to me?
I know what you mean. I think I need to talk more about how fragrance makes me feel. I think I get kind of like focused on what I think is in there and how it smells, but actually part of that story that's quite important is how does it make you feel, not just whether you like it or not, but a little bit more than that. Like,
Yeah.
you
So
can go a
there's
bit
two
deeper.
parts. There's two parts to it. You know, fragrance is on the outside and feelings are internally. So you got to kind of bring them together, bring the stories together.
Yeah, I'm going to try and do that. So many people here. Yes.
MJ's asking the last comment, will Valerie sell Belle Ame on her website? So Valerie is the operator of Les Indemnidables, and she will be carrying Belle Ame from Bistro de la Butte next week. Yeah, so if you're in Europe, you can get your bottles there.
What's it called? Bistro
de la Butte.
De la Butte.
Yeah, Bistro de la Butte. Beauty. I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying, like Butte or what? Yeah. Okay, so you're in an actual boutique as well as on your own website.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, lesabstraits.com. They'll be available there, and Bistro de la Butte.
And when's it available?
We're gonna launch next week. Wednesday, Thursday. I've got some things going on, like Sultan Pasha. I'm gonna have an interview with Sultan Pasha possibly Wednesday. Yeah. We have scheduled an interview before, but it had to be canceled. So hopefully Wednesday. And if I have Pasha on Wednesday, then we'll launch on Thursday. So I'm very open. You know, I don't have to agree or discuss a launch with anybody, but I do always have, you know, I talk to people and I make sure it's the right time for everybody involved.
Yeah.
Cool. So next week, look for Wednesday or Thursday. It'll be available worldwide.
Yeah. Okay, and I take it you'll be announcing it on the various social media platforms.
Yeah.
Okay.
The usual
Red
suspects.
Cupid Bow Lips is asking if you're shipping to Australia.
Yes, we're shipping to Australia. Quite a few people there's quite a few bottles in Australia, in Singapore and Dubai, and there's people contacting me from all over the world, and I'm getting messages every day from people. Somebody messaged the other day, a lovely young lady from France saying I had just smelled Belle Ame and how much she loves it and the story behind. So it's been a really interesting ride, interesting journey.
So when you were giving the brief to Antoine, were you specific about what notes you wanted in there, or did you let him interpret?
Well, so I gave him the stories I wanted to represent, and then I gave him a list of notes that I like and things that I don't like. And then I left it to him. I said, you know, these are the things that I like, but you don't necessarily have to use them.
Yeah.
He had a lot of freedom to create what he wanted. This was the Belle Ame was the perfume he had the most freedom.
Yeah.
This was a lot of this was his taking. He's like, Eugene, I got this great cacao. I want to use it. I want to put it in this perfume. And it worked, it just worked brilliantly. And I was like,
Yeah.
yes, of course, And for me, it was just a matter of, did I connect and did our visions connect? And they did. He did a superb job.
I think it's getting better,
Well, his styles have definitely changed since he started. When he started, and I don't want to speak for him, but it's almost like he was almost angry at the industry for what it's become. And he wanted to be this rebel, and he created these really beautiful, ugly things, kind of. Do you know what I mean? By, like, let's say Secretions Magnifique or Rien. And people just adore them. So that was kind of his avant-garde days, where he would do these really strange perfumes, but they worked and they became cult icons. Right now, I think he's found a zone, and he's gone back to traditional perfumes, very classical. I find his style now is more classical than ever. When you look at Rose de Jamal, have you smelt Rose de Jamal?
Tried that, no.
That's his perfume with Les Abstraits. I think it's the most beautiful rose perfume on the market right now.
Okay.
He did Iris Pearl, a very classical iris, very different than this iris. It's a more floral iris.
Yeah.
A very soapy iris.
I have to look out for those. Yeah.
So his style I would say, I haven't smelt his Eris parfums. I do have a sample set on its way. I ordered a sample set from Barbara Herman. So I'm excited to try those and see, is there any connect? Like when I smell Les and Demidabo, they don't smell anything like the perfume from Les Abstraits. Very different,
Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious to see how his work for Eris was, but I'm really enjoying watching him kind of grow and bloom, and I'm excited to partner with him.
Is he independent, or is he linked to
he works on his own? He decides what he's going to work on, what he's going to create. He said no to some jobs in the past that didn't fit his vision. He doesn't want to work with a marketing team. He wants to work with the person that makes all the choices. That was, I think that was a big bother for him. Marketing would approve of a perfume and then 6 months later come back and say, no, it's not good. We've had it market tested and it didn't pass, and be like, well, we already, we made an agreement. You had accepted the fragrance. So that kind of stuff drove him nuts. He didn't want to work with marketing, with market testing. That's not art, is it?
No, it's just what's the most generic thing that everyone's gonna like.
Right. What are we gonna sell? What are we gonna sell 1 million bottles of? Right.
Yeah. It's like as soon as you try and make something that everyone's gonna like, you're totally gonna water down and make something there's no one's gonna love. So isn't it better to make something that just a small amount of people? I know it's not about, that's obviously not about the money then, but if you make something that some people are just going to love and some people are probably going to hate, isn't that better? It's more exciting than some generic thing that smells like everything else. Like, who's going to get excited about that?
Not me.
None of us.
I have no interest in creating anything like that. And we see a lot of that. A lot of it is just kind of fabricate. A lot of the briefs are just kind of fabricated and they have no meaning. And just like, oh, another one of these.
H2O is asking what it smells like now. It's difficult to explain how it differs now, but it has definitely changed. What I might do is do a spray somewhere else so I can compare the opening. problem is I've been spraying today, of course. I've been testing Fille de Joie from Serge Luton. Do you know that one?
I don't.
Fille de Joie.
Is that the hyacinth?
I don't think so. It's it's this color. So it's like I think it's jasmine. I'm not sure. It's white floral. It's very intense white floral with a little bit of sweetness. It's rich, and I'm kind of fallen for it. It's a little bit more floral than I normally go for, but it's big, bold, brash, but not brash, no. But really, it's yeah. I've been testing that.
So how do you feel about Serge Luton's and the creativity?
I mean, it's not a house I'm really familiar with. I've tried a few over the years. I had Santal Majuscule a long time ago. I know that they're classic and everyone loves them. I don't know if they changed recently. Yeah, I don't know too much, but I think that they're a solid niche brand. They're not, I don't know about the bell jars, but the other bottles are not too expensive, but they are a little bit different. What do you think?
I love them. I think they're a great, fabulous house. I don't always feel like wearing them. I feel like there is a lot of artistry and creativity there. They create some challenging perfumes. For the most part, there's nothing mass appealing or mainstream in them. They don't follow trends. I think they're a great house, great brand.
Yeah.
I know there's been a lot of complaints since they've entered Sephora that they've lost some of that creativity.
Right.
I'm not very familiar with a lot of those things. But I got a tremendous amount of respect for Serge Luton's. Huge.
Yeah.
I definitely see that connection between Serge and the Chanel Les Exclusives, with Christopher Sheldrake being kind of part of both of those brands. So.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I did try Saracens as well on the left wrist, and that was this morning, and it's still going strong. And that's another white floral. It's a little bit more jarring. I think it's a little bit more animalic, but yeah, I'm kind of interested in trying some of the more I don't know, like the more niche of Serge Lutens. The more the ones that are a little bit more challenging. I think
Right.
Finally ready for it. So yeah, the difference between respraying Belle Ame and now, where did I put it? Is it now feels like the opening of Belle Ame almost has a slightly animalic tinge to it that I didn't pick up on when I first sprayed it. But now that I smell the dry down versus the opening, I do get a hint of something animalic. I couldn't exactly say what it is. I wonder. You're smiling, so I wonder if there is an animalic note in there.
I'm listening. I'm listening.
So whether that could be a hint of civet or even a bit of an indole or something, it's just giving it a little funk that has calmed down a lot in the dry down. So the dry down is much cleaner than that first initial blast.
Okay, so personally, I don't find anything funky or dirty in there, but I've heard other people mention like a little touch of exactly how you describe. I don't get that at all. I almost wish I did, and like I'm missing out, but I don't see it. And there's nothing in there that I'm aware of.
Okay. Yeah, and it's not something I picked up on until I smelt the dry down versus the opening. And that's when I thought there's just a tinge of just like a tiny whiff of dirt in a very gentle way that I wouldn't have picked up on had I not then smelt the cleaner, maybe smoother sort of half an hour in.
Yeah, but it could be the musk, but there are definitely, stages of development there where it kind of morphs and changes. So the dry down is you know, the opening is unrecognizable to the dry down.
Yeah.
So Valerie from Les Abstraits, the Bistro de la Butte, had this on at her shop, you know, and it was showing it to some clients, and it's so far the feedback has been overwhelmingly like positive. People are absolutely loving it. So
Yeah.
that's what I've heard coming out of France, and it's great to hear.
Would you describe it as a little bit vintage?
I think this is the most modern out of the three. I don't find it vintage.
Okay.
I've heard people call LDE vintage, and I would agree with that.
Yeah, and I think maybe just because it's that genre, that Oris dominant genre, generally makes me feel like it's got a more of a vintage feel. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. All right. I
Yeah.
would love to know how, you know, your thoughts progress with this over time.
Yeah, I'll let you know. But definitely loving it, and I'm loving that it really does change. It's taking you on a journey, and that's what I love in perfumery. It's like I get bored with linear fragrances. I might enjoy them, I might love them for an hour, but then your nose is saying, well, give me something else now, you know. And this is definitely changing.
I feel like I almost get like a touch of banana ylang in there.
Okay.
Do you notice that at all?
No.
You might. You might. You might. I don't want to put you on the spot.
Yeah. It feels floral, and I never call iris a floral. To me, it's not floral. I know it kind of is, but it's not. It feels floral, but as I say, I can't exactly pinpoint. And it's, you know, you say you've got a touch of rose in there. It definitely has a really gentle, delicate floral element to it. But yeah, I'd never be able to say, right, I smell that, you know, rose or ylang ylang or whatever. And almost like smelling flower. You know what I mean? And because I think Serge Lutens has got one, haven't they, called Bois Farine. I don't think I've even tried it. That's supposed to be a flower smell. But I don't know why, but I was just thinking it smells a bit like flower, and it's like the fluffiness of the flower as well as the actual scent of flower.
Right. Yeah. I find this more woody than floral. It has a very woody backbone coming from sandalwood, very meditative, spiritual sandalwood incense, that tonka bean resin, and then those musks. The musks really give this wings. Like,
Yeah.
you know, those, I don't know which ones to compare it to, but there's like certain musks where you can feel the perfume jumping off your skin. I get a lot of that from here.
Yeah. I had a feeling it would be musky, but I wasn't sure if that was something you would like. So to me, it just seemed the clear, obvious thing, but I wasn't sure if that was your thing.
So I love musks. Yes, I definitely love musks. And musks can sometimes get dirty, but that wasn't, you know, that wasn't the intention here to make a dirty perfume at all. You know, there was a lot of intention goes into these fragrances. You know, the Castoreum and LDE, the first one, it gets a little bit dirty, and that was something that we had planned. But there was no plans to make this dirty, or it was supposed to be clean, cozy, warm,
Yeah.
uplifting, slightly spiritual, like a warm blanket, like a
Comfort
cuddly
blanket.
sweater.
Yeah, totally. I totally get that. Comforting, easy, non-challenging, but not boring. Just, yeah, easy. Yeah, I'm really impressed. I love it.
Thank you. I thank you so much, Claire. That means a lot to me because I do appreciate your nose. I do think you have a great, fabulous nose.
Thank you.
I watch all the time. I watch the live streams, and you have this ability to pick up things that I don't hear a lot of other people talking about. So That's great.
Thank you. And yeah, thank you. Thank you for the sample via Rich Mitch. So thank you both.
Thank you, Rich Mitch. Rich Mitch has been a big help getting a lot of
Mm.
these samples out. So
Yeah, he's your number one supporter. He loves
yeah,
to
he's
try.
great. I love Rich. I love
Yeah.
Rich. Shout outs to Galen, wherever Galen is. Galen's a lurker.
Okay. Great stream, Claire, says Phil. Thank you. Feel your boots. Great name. Thank you.
How many people are here?
64.
That's a great stream.
Yeah.
That's
Thanks,
a great
everyone.
stream.
You can click the like if you want.
Yes, hit the like.
Like the stream for Eugene.
let me hit the like button. You got 29
Yeah.
likes, I see.
Oh,
Good.
there he is. Galen's here. Always here, he says.
Always here.
Oh, Taffy, thank you so much. That's very, very kind of you. Mwah.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. So, I'm always listening to the people, the viewers, and they were the ones asking me to release this. I'm just like, I have no schedule or no date. So I'm like, okay, the people want it. And I talked to Antoine. He's like, yeah, sure. Like, people are excited and they're bothering him about it. And the people are, I usually have one of these over my shoulder on the live streams. And the people were asking for quatrefoil logoed microfibers. So those are coming and they'll be included with every release next
And
week.
what do they do?
I just have one of these, almost like a bartender, in the it's
Okay.
a microfiber cloth. So I'm kind of like the bartender perfume guy. And I'm always wiping fingerprints off of my bottles before I show them. It's kind of my like OCD, right? And I don't know, I just kind of always have this microfiber cloth and people associate me with microfibers. So they asked for quatrefoil logo. This is the quatrefoil. That's my logo is it's called the quatrefoil. So we are getting those embroidered on the microfibers.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I thought it would just be like a nice touch.
Yeah. That's so cute. Taffy says, oh, I'd love a quatrefoil cloth. Don's here.
They're coming.
Good to see you, Don. Linguiste.
Let me ask you, Claire.
Yeah.
Doing this for a long time, loving perfume. Do you ever have any ambition to do something with fragrance-wise, or anyone else in the chat? I mean, is there anything else that you would love to your perfume arsenal?
Well, there is maybe something coming up.
Okay.
I've been talking to Sarah McCartney from 4160 Tuesdays. So there might be, don't want to spoil anything too much. I did post a little video of us chatting about materials and stuff. And so there might be something.
A collaboration in the works.
A little bit of a collaboration, purely from my point of view, purely for pleasure. And I'll give you a couple of things. I think 1920s. I think Flapper Girl. Probably actually, Sarah could have made something like this, and I'd be like, yeah. So I'm thinking musky, iris, that kind of thing. But...
Come here into my boudoir.
Yes, exactly. So
Great.
Yeah, that's something. Yeah. And for you, for your brand, have you got an idea in mind of how many releases you're going to have, how slow or fast you're going to release?
I mean, I always have ideas. I'm always thinking of something, and we're gonna release these, and I've got one more coming. Hopefully next. No, I mean not hopefully, but I've got one more that still needs to be released, so that'll be coming next year. Yeah, we'll hold that for next year. Don't want to rush them all at once.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Like, there is no rush, is there? And people, I think it's nice for people to have to take their time and enjoy your fragrance and not start to think, oh, I've got to get the next one, or I've got to try the next one. it can be overwhelming.
Yeah.
Mm. Have you got anything else in the makings with Antoine?
That's it for now. We're
Mm.
slightly discussing kind of the next chapters, but
Mm.
we're not there yet. We're not
Yeah.
there yet.
Okay.
We've talked about it in passing, but nothing's in, concrete yet.
So I guess it's going to follow your, almost like follow your life pattern. So in some ways, some things are still unwritten. So potentially another stage of your life will inspire.
Well, these three is, it's a very special collection.
Mm.
I call them meditations because a lot of the ideas came to me in meditations.
Mm.
I don't know. No, they're all not all going to be necessarily based off of my life,
Mm.
but they're
Okay.
going to be kind of a deeper meaning to them, kind
Mm.
of, you know, to share, to express, to teach, to let people know that they aren't alone if they're struggling with something or going through some sort of event, that there's
Mm.
other people that are familiar with the same thing, and don't give up,
Yeah.
just keep going.
Yeah.
Every day is a possibility for a new beginning, right?
Yeah.
Don't be
Brilliant.
stuck in fear. Clear the head
How much do you meditate?
all the time.
Do you?
Mm,
And would you say that's been life changing for you?
absolutely.
Mm. Yes, it's
Absolutely.
something I try. I know that I should do, and I sometimes try, and then you always feel like you're too busy.
Well, you can meditate even when you're doing things. I've learned
Mm.
that I don't need to be sitting down in, that yogi position with my eyes closed to meditate. I can meditate while
Mm.
I'm working. So meditation is just simply separating from thought and being present.
Would you say it's just about focusing on the moment? So even if you're just going for a walk, or as you say, working,
It's
it.
about enjoying what you have in front of you, being
Mm.
grateful for that moment, because you don't know what's waiting. I might not see the sunlight tomorrow. I might not wake up in the morning. So
Mm.
I want to enjoy what's here now.
Yeah.
I want to enjoy this. I want to enjoy my time here. And while I'm here now, I don't want to be in 5 years ago or yesterday. I don't want my
Yeah.
mind to be in that space. I want to be here with you, Claire, with Smurfy Girl, enjoying you, understanding you, listening to you,
Mm.
observing you, and being here with the chat. I don't
Yeah.
want to be in a place that reminds me of, let's say, pain or insecurity or fear. That's what the past holds. But
Mm.
that's also a place that society keeps us in,
Mm.
just by the content that we're being pummeled with every single day. Social media, the media, politics, religion, all that wants to keep you in the state of fear. They want to keep you from enjoying the now.
Yeah.
And that's how
And
they get to you.
it's difficult, I think, with the way that the world is as well, with technology, with our phones, that we're always sort of like on our phones, and we're always doing 100 things at once. It's so difficult to actually just be in the moment, isn't it? It's like
Yeah.
it's a
It's
muscle that you have to kind of work out regularly, isn't it?
It is, and you can do it. It is
Mm.
definitely a muscle, but yeah, we're constantly looking to absorb as much information as we can,
Mm.
and it's good sometimes to just put all that away, to shut it all off, and be with yourself and listen to the body, and become observant of what the body's feeling. The body's
Mm.
the truth. Your body, when you kind of heal that pain and you're able to listen to your body and not distract it, your body never lies. The body tells
Mm.
the truth. It's that following that intuition.
Yeah.
It's when you don't have a connection with the body and you distract from that, the language of the body, you start giving yourself away to things that aren't good for you in order to be accepted. You start giving yourself away to relationships that aren't good for you. You
Mm.
start accepting jobs that you don't love. You start finding yourself in situations that aren't right. And it's all because, we're distracted from the truth of the body
Mm.
because we're in pain.
Yeah. Interesting. So meditation in a way is kind of a way of healing and being more present, really.
Yeah.
Mm.
So meditation for me was not about becoming somebody new or different, or meditation was about unbecoming the idea that I thought I was,
Mm.
unbecoming the person that I thought I was, unbecoming the fear that I had that was living inside of me, unbecoming the pain that lived inside of me.
Mm.
And it was just like becoming right now,
Yeah.
enjoying right now.
Wow, brilliant.
Mm.
Yeah, I really, really like that. I'm trying to see if there's anything else I can kind of like pick out, but at the moment it's just this gentle iris lotion.
I'm really excited. I want you to experience that tonka bean resin in the base. It's so gorgeous.
Mm.
I'm not a fan of tonka beans, especially
Mm.
in designer perfumes. It smells cheap and overly sweet to me, but there's
Yeah,
this kind of scorched, burnt tonka cord, a bean,
right.
accord
Yeah,
to it.
you can definitely tell there's something sweet in the base, like something that I would have just guessed as a very gentle amber accord, like a benzoin. I would have said benzoin, maybe even a teeny bit of vanilla, but something that just sort of
Yeah, it's a
gently
combination of tonka. It's a combination of sandalwood. Yeah, it feels a little bit vanillic, kind of that.
Mm,
I get that ylang banana vanilla thing going on.
yeah, it's definitely creamy, like you say. Um,
Right.
not like smelling cream, but it's just that creamy kind of
Lotiony thing.
lotiony thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it lactonic in any way, but it just has this really creamy feel, which is lovely. Just yeah, gently sweet. Some sort of, for me, some sort of hint of florals, that like a whisper, just a tiny whisper of something floral. Um,
I
and
think
the
there's several varieties of iris in there.
same.
You know, or the Oris concrete is the dominant, and then so there's some other irises that he's used. But I
Mm.
want to just kind of acknowledge JJ Colburn here saying meditation is radical acceptance of how one is today, right now, with no judgment, with compassion. That's really what meditation is, to observe the moment without judging anything and
Mm.
accepting everything for what it is. And that's where you find the ultimate joy.
I'm going to make the effort to try, even if I can't sit down and do it. At least
Yeah,
go
just start
for
with
a
a couple
walk.
minutes, 2
Yeah.
minutes, 2 turns. Like when I started, it was hell on earth when the first time I started. It's like I couldn't hold it for 5 seconds. Right
Yeah.
away, I was like, oh, like what about this perfume, or what should I buy next, or what for dinner? I got to pick the kids up, or oh, did I turn the oven up? All these kind of
Mm.
your mind has just got a million thoughts going through it.
Mm.
But now it's like once you kind of master it, it just happens automatically, kind of like breathing.
Mm. Yeah. Have you seen Joe Dispenza?
Yeah, I've watched Joe Dispenza on YouTube. He's
Mm.
great. I love him. I love him. I
Yeah.
don't watch all his content because there's just
Mm.
so much of it,
Yeah. I just find the health transformations amazing. I mean, there's thousands of videos of people that have cured their own chronic diseases, even terminal diseases.
Absolutely. All
Uh,
those diseases come from stress and anxiety,
mm.
thinking about the past,
Mm.
sitting in the pain and the fear of the past, thinking about the future, being anxious about the future.
Mm.
And then when you meditate, you kind of get rid of that. Like, I don't have anxiety. I don't have the stress I used to. Um, I just feel very neutral.
Yeah.
Meditation is about being happy or anything. It's just about being neutral. It's
Yeah.
about, forgiving and understanding. And even when somebody is criticizing me or judging me or, really getting into my face and my space, I find the compassion to kind of like, I understand where it's coming from, and I'm like,
Mm.
okay, I hear you, I see you, I get it. It's, it's gonna be okay. It's fine. I
Yeah.
don't, I don't hold any ill will towards anybody.
Mm.
No resentment, but
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking earlier, it's amazing, really, how I mean, your transformation has played out on the internet, and you were once this sort of like black sheep of Fragcom, really, in a way, sort of angry and cynical, and you've come to this absolute acceptance of you're not interested in judging anyone else for how what they do. You do you, and that's it, isn't it?
that's the beauty of being human is we can all
Mm.
like what we like, and we don't need to be judged for it. Like, who am I, Claire, to judge you for liking whatever perfume? You know what I
Mm.
mean? Like, if you love it and it brings you happiness and joy, and even if it is, let's say, Dior Joy, right?
Yeah.
Even if it is Dior Joy,
Mm.
who am I to say, Claire has shit taste in perfume, which you don't, but
Yeah.
we all go through our own journeys. We all
Mm.
have our own experiences, and I've gone through my experiences. You've gone through yours, and we're all just living. We're all just
Yeah.
enjoying.
That's it. Live and let live, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Just
Mm.
accept.
Yeah. It's a peaceful place to be if you can master it, kind of thing. Which
It is.
I'm working on. Like I've been for the last few years really trying to avoid drama. I see no point in calling anyone out just because I don't agree with what they've done or said. It just creates more drama, puts more focus on the thing that you don't particularly want a focus on anyway. So I think it's like
Yeah.
you've got to live to your own standards, haven't you? And hope that other people will see that. And
Mm. Yeah, that comes from a lot of dysregulation from, the mind and the body not connecting or seeing eye to eye, and
mm,
needing that stimulation, needing that excitement, not being able to sit still by yourself.
yeah, right. I think I'm worn out now.
Yeah, yeah. It could
So
take.
yeah, if anyone else has anything left to say, do so now, or forever hold your peace. But yeah, I'm just going to finally say, yeah, Eugene, I absolutely love what you've created with Antoine. It is just totally up my tree. It's up my alley, not my back alley.
Oh,
I've got to throw an innuendo in there. I absolutely love it. It's beautiful. It's an amazing iris musk to me, with a really grounded, sweet, amazing base that I can't wait to get to know and see how it develops and changes. So yeah, it's been great to try it, and it's been amazing to have you on. And if you want to say any final words, the floor is yours.
thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm glad that you're enjoying it. I'm glad that they're being received so well. And that was the point. When I was creating perfumes, I wanted to create, like you said, I was the black sheep of Fragcom for a long time. I was just about coming on here and bashing all the stuff that I didn't like, and the way the industry was going. And this here is just an expression of creating things that I want to wear for myself and enjoy, and the people that have similar tastes to enjoy as well, and give us something to um, convene over, to talk
Mm,
about.
yeah,
There
brilliant.
you go. But thanks everybody in the chat. It's great seeing you. I see Margie saying go live. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe
There
I'll go live, Margie, if you come on.
you go. Oh yeah, we'll watch you then, Eugene
Yeah,
and Margie, in a little bit.
yeah. I see Perfume Temple here. Christy, Joe, Taffy, Floral Notes, Sherry, JJ, everybody. Anyone I missed? Karen, Bobby O. Thank you so much, Fosco. Lego East.
Thank you everyone so much. I'm gonna have to watch this back to see all the comments. But yeah, thank you, Eugene. Thank you everyone in the chat, and have an amazing evening, and we'll see you all later.
Thanks, Claire.
Bye.